Hello, everyone out there. I am here tuning in live right here out of our place in New York City. And I have to keep saying that over and over because it seems very strange. I've always been a West Coast person, and now here we are on the East Coast for the foreseeable future, really. And so maybe I got to stop saying that. But for now, I'll just say, welcome to New York, over and over for myself and for you too, because that's where I'm coming from on Eastern time, and we'll wait for a couple people to jump in here who I know are kind of waiting for us as well. We have a quick one today that hopefully will be packed with tidbits for you about using StrengthsFinder. I know a lot of people have said to me, okay, so I've taken StrengthsFinder at some point, and I think I can find the results somewhere. They might be at the bottom of some stack or lost in some file in a computer, or maybe they're even still back at GallupStrengthsCenter.com. Like you never even downloaded the results, just kind of looked at them, said, oh, this is interesting, and then didn't really do anything with them. Maybe you took it forcibly, right? Somebody that you know asked you to take it, or maybe it was something that you did as part of your work. And so when you hear me talking about fueling life change through the power of your unique strengths by using the StrengthsFinder language, it feels like a little bit of a stretch. Like, how in the world are we supposed to get there? Like, all I know is my top 5 strengths, and I don't really know what to do next. And it's a super common question. It's something that people I have heard over and over. Okay, so I've done this assessment. What do I do next? So StrengthsFinder gives you your top 5 talents. It's taken from millions of interviews with successful people. The Gallup organization has come up with these 34 talent themes, ways of talents, modes of thinking and feeling and behaving that people have used to get to a place of success. And so after you take this assessment, you get your top 5. And so what do you do after you take your assessment? Well, after you have those top 5 strengths, what's next? And so I'm going to give you 3 steps that you can take to really actually start to use these things in your life to experience life change like I have. And then also I wanted to give you an extra bonus one that I think has been most life-changing, even for people who have been on the strengths journey for a long time. When they discover this about their strengths, they are absolutely mind-boggled in some ways and have been given an amazing tool to work towards that change that they're going for, whether that's in their relationships or in their work or in their home life. So let's just start off with the very basics. Step 1, after you have taken StrengthsFinder, is you have to remember how to remember them. That is very common that I tell people what I do and what I work with and what I'm passionate about, and they say, oh yeah, I've taken that assessment. Top 5 strengths. Yeah, I think there's something about maximizing, and is there one about working hard? No, and so it's hard to remember these things. I mean, it's a new language. It's like going to a language school for one day and then never thinking about it again. We have to remember our strengths. And so there's a couple different ways that I recommend that you do that. You can be creative. One way is just putting them in a place that you see every day. For a long time, I had them right in my bathroom to be able to say, like, this is something that somewhere I go every day. How am I going to see these things every day? Put them on your computer screen. Put them on your phone. There's an app that Gallup has that have your strengths right there and the descriptions of them, so you can even remember what they mean. I have a totally creatively brilliant friend and another consultant who his name's Carol Ann McGuire, and she writes hers into art. And so she has art available. So if you want to keep that in front of you in a more artistic way, keep your talents in front of you that remind you of who you are and through your top 5 strengths, your most beautiful talents. Then the second step is to really assign your own words to them. So once you have what your top 5 strengths are, these 5 words. For me, it's achiever, arranger, learner, belief, and connectedness. Then you take the next step towards life change by really knowing what they mean to you, assigning words that are meaningful to you. You know, maybe the word achiever doesn't mean much, or connectedness. Like for me, it meant nothing at first. In fact, I was a little bit put off by it at first. But what is it about that strength, that talent theme, that you do resonate with, that says, oh my gosh, this is me? Take those things. Maybe you read your report, you highlight those things, actually extract them from the report, write them down somewhere. Maybe it's, you know, on that 3x5 card that has your strengths on it, and there's a few key phrases that you write next to them that say, this is how I'm claiming this strength. This is how I am starting to be able to say, this is me. And you putting it in your own words that aren't necessarily canned from the report, but rather something that really feels right to you. And maybe even consider sharing that with other people so you can get their feedback about your strengths as well. And then the third step is to start to bring consciousness to your strengths. How am I actually using these things? And am I using them well? I talk about this in the video that we highlighted from this week's roundup from last season of Isogo TV. In the blog post from last week, you will find all of the episodes that have to do with this very question. I've taken StrengthsFinder, so now what's next? And the video that we highlighted from last year for this particular post was about controlling the volume. It's about how do we minimize our frustration and increase our energy by turning up the volume in our strengths. You know, this has been one of the most insightful metaphors that I have come across and that my clients have raved about. Like imagining each one of our strengths with a volume dial and how are we using it? For sure, we are not going to be maximally effective if we have all of them 100% all the time. And so how do we bring consciousness to our strengths in our day and say, okay, where might these things be getting in my way? Where might they be getting in the way of other people? Or maybe where are they not showing up enough? And I really need to bring them to this particular role or this particular project, or bring ones that I always bring at work home to my family because they could use that organization or that flexibility that you naturally bring as well. So those are the 3 steps. Remember to remember them. Figure out some way to do it. Assign a body part to them. Make it kinesthetic. Do something that you can remember your strengths. 2, put them in your own words. Absolutely know what those 5 words from Gallup mean to you. And then 3rd, start to control the volume of them. Bring them to consciousness in your life. How have you they not only describe what you have done, but what you can do and how you will have the most energy when you do it. And then I promised a fourth step that I think really has been game changing for people, even who have been working and living in their strengths for a long time. And that is to start to understand what the needs are that you have that will make each one of these talents thrive. You know, there is an ideal environment that you can put yourself in that will help your talents thrive as strengths. It absolutely gives you insight into the way that you need to craft your environment, the things that you need to put around you that you need to make sure are true around you in order to really thrive. So these are the needs of each one of your strengths. And there's the video that talks about this from last season in Isogo TV is also up in last week's post, so you can go check that out there. And there are 2 free resources that get you to this point. There's a list out there of the 34 talent themes and the things that each one of those themes need in order to be most successful and to thrive as strengths. And so that is available as a free download over at my site at isogostrong.com. You can go to this week's most recent blog post and you will find that free download there, as well as a free download activity that has to do with your volume control and kind of assessing where you are using your strengths well, maybe where you're using them in underdrive and where you're using them in overdrive. So those are the first 3 steps plus a bonus step to using your strengths after you have taken StrengthsFinder. And I'm happy to be here along the way to answer questions, to field thoughts of yours, to help you take that next step. Whatever that next step is for you as you experience the beginnings of life change through your own unique, awesome, and brilliant strengths. So thanks for those of you who tuned in live, and I'm really excited for those of you who caught it later as well. And I look forward to catching you again the same time next week as we talk about the final roundup of Isogo TV of this last year next week, our Q&A. So I will see you next week, and be sure to check in with me here on the page or over in our group, Energy Up, Frustration Down through our strengths. All right, we will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.